Good evening and welcome to another great game of League of Legends. Our Montco Mustangs going up against the Northeast Iowa area community college Trojans. It's going to be a great night of League of Legends tonight with a lot of twists and turns. Starting off with our starting roster for tonight. Currently, as the starting roster stands, Alice, Bun, Dragart, Jace, and Retro are our starting five for this evening's event. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for that team, because it's definitely not the one that we saw last week. A lot of substitutions. We're getting late into the semester, so it's harder for people to come. So we were able to field a full team, but definitely a fun team indeed. As we get things ready to go, it's going to be just an amazing time. As we all sit back, take a second. It's Saturday, the last stream of the week. And next week is going to be a slow week for streaming. No match on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Believe we'll have a match on Thursday and maybe a match on Saturday. But that might be it. Playoffs are upon us, which means that we are definitely in a spot right now where it's going to take some time. Obviously not this next week, as I just said, but the week after that, matches on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are for sure our playoff spots for Overwatch 2 in NACE as they go up against West Texas A&M once again. They were able, I believe that they lost to West Texas A&M in the season, but they're going to look to have their redemption arc starting right about now as they'll go up against them. The winner of that match against West Texas A&M will go up against, I believe, I remembered who it was. I no longer remember, but obviously it is a 3-round playoff. We are definitely ready for that. Me and Sundown, one of the DPSs for the Overwatch 2 team, spent a lot of time looking at our opponent last night for that first round of the playoffs. Wednesday will be the start of the NJCAAE playoffs for our Overwatch 2 team. And then on Friday, April 5th, will be the first game of our Rocket League NJCAAE playoffs. We have not gotten that opponent yet for the NJCAAE, but it's going to be a great time. I'm super excited for it and everything that we've got going for us, especially now that we're getting things ready to go with this matchup for the Mustangs. As we'll wait for the last couple of members of this roster to get into chat and get things ready to go. I think it's funny, I'm looking at everyone's rank right now, and we seem pretty spread out. The Mustangs, a little bit edging out some of the lower ranked players. And then there is Retro. Retro, normally our tank player, or our DPS player for our Overwatch 2 varsity lineup. You get to see him on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and if not there, on our YouTube channel, Mustangs Esports. But obviously filling in while Anthony arrives. He'll be filling in for Game 1 for Anthony. We'll take over the top lane in a position that he got to play last season, but he's just a fill-in role himself. Everyone is ranked in this game except for Retro. Retro is the only, other than me, obviously, the only unranked player, which I think is very funny, but he's got some good skill. I've played with him before. He can play with the best of us. So very excited to see how he performs in this game. And that's about that. We're just kind of waiting patiently here for everyone to join up into the lobby, and then we should be able to get things started in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, I've got to remember to set out some reminders. As now I'm recognizing that things are misspelled. Doesn't really matter. We'll take that. We'll move it over. And we will get this party started. Well, that's pretty funny. There we go. And there we are. Mustangs are definitely getting things ready to get stuff started now. We got 3 out of 5 members in the lobby, or 4. if you include Alice, who's sitting in the spectators lounge. But a lot of good things here. No cams tonight. League of Legends have never had cameras for the facilities, but we're hoping to get those next semester with the addition of a new streaming facility. Should have been there at the beginning of March, but unfortunately, political issues got in the way. Just, school issues with emptying rooms and re-entering rooms, things like that, do definitely make it a lot more difficult to get this stuff done. But we plow ahead. We've ordered all the equipment, and it should all be there. Hopefully, starting maybe next semester, we will be streaming from an in-house facility, differing from where we've been so far, which, if we removed this lovely step and repeat behind me, we'd see my bedroom. But obviously all good things, and I'm very excited for the change, as hopefully we are just a couple of minutes away from the start of this game. As I am just reaching out to the team, seeing where we are at with everything, and hopefully they'll give me a good answer fairly soon. And we should get things started here in the next couple of minutes. Just waiting patiently now just to see when we'll decide to start. As it's just this patient little waiting game that we have as we sort out everything here between these two teams before we get things started. A lot goes into preparations when it comes to League of Legends. Champion Select is a very long and grueling process of, for those of you that may have never seen it, the way that this process operates is when you guys get into, it's a draft select for all heroes, for all champions. And what happens is you go back and forth like in a snake draft, and you will spend the first 6 picks banning. So it will be, 3 bans back and forth. So one team will ban and then another team will ban until both teams have banned 3 characters. From there, each team will choose 3 characters, and then we'll go back to another ban phase of 2 characters per team, and then the final 2 players will pick their champions on either team. It's a very grueling process, and a lot goes into it. I've seen how, Jace and Alice really command this League of Legends team, Jace being a player on this team, and the way that they operate is incredible. By the way that they look at how these players on opposing teams have played champions, how we could shut down certain players and leave other people unlocked and say, all right, we could focus on maybe their mid laners, their best player. So, okay, we'll dive into their main player and do stuff like that. And here we go. The tournament draft has started. So like I said before, 3 bans both sides, 3 picks both sides, 2 bans both sides, and the final 2 picks. Mustangs with the second ban here. They're on the enemy team as it stands, but we are definitely getting things started here. I unfortunately don't know a lot about a lot of the characters. I'll talk about them if I see them picked or banned, about why I might think that, but other than that, I'll probably keep to myself for this entire phase of the game.
We must all make our choices.
You can't cage me for long.
Final bands are coming in for the first stage of this champion selection tournament draft. Mustangs just a second away from making that pick. Here we go. First couple of picks on either side. As both sides have made their first three picks, we get into another set of bands. And then we'll get into our final two picks, and then we start our waiting game. For those of you that never watched before, after this draft is complete, both teams are given a minute to choose loadouts. So you get a couple of different small abilities that come with their characters that anyone can pick. So that might be what's called a flash, where you could teleport very quickly away, or a healing passive, or things like that. So you get some time to figure out what you want to do there. And then we have to wait 3 minutes. As per NJCAAE policy, we run stream on a 3-minute delay, but League of Legends doesn't know that. And as a spectator to this type of event, League of Legends runs its own 3-minute delay. So we're going to have to wait for that to run out before we start watching any League of Legends. So as we get into the final stage of this draft, the final 4 picks are going to come in, and then we will have to wait for about 4 minutes of time, which is oh so much fun. And here we go, loadout preparations underway for both of these teams. And then comes my favorite part, the 3 minutes of waiting, as these guys will start off their match, and then we will follow as closely behind as we can by about 3 minutes. The Mustangs definitely in a good position here tonight. Currently sitting 2-1 in the NJCAAE League. Looking to extend their lead to 3-1 here tonight. It's going to be a tough one because of how many subs they have in. But I know that the Mustangs are up for the challenge as we get ready to go here. Just 15 seconds away from our 3-minute wait. And here we are. These guys will start to load in, and our timer will start. 3 minutes now. As we just wait patiently, hopefully everyone's having a great night here and very excited for some League of Legends action as we get things ready to go. All right, a little under a minute now as we are about to get this party started. The Mustangs up against the Trojans here tonight. And in about 30 seconds, I'd love to say that we get immediately into this match, but the Riot client doesn't like loading screens. It actually loves loading screens. So we'll load into a loading screen because for some reason it didn't take any of this 3 minutes to load the actual match, but we will definitely be able to load in as quickly as possible. I'll show you guys mastery details and things like that, and then we'll get things going. And here we are. As things will load, you get a good look at my beautiful little wallpaper. Why is this loading into the corner? All right, this game is loading. Still loading. Here we are. There's the loading screen that we all know and love. As I'll make sure that this is the screen that everyone gets to see. There's a look at mastery info. And a look at our player info. Before we get things started here, it's going to be a great, great matchup. Retro going to be taking that top lane. I believe Jace will be our mid laner. Give me your buns in the jungle. Dargart and Alice will be in our bottom lane for tonight's matchup. As we now wait very patiently to load in. This is honestly my favorite part. And here we are, Mustangs ready to go. As I have to make sure that everything... There it is. Alright, here we go. Mustangs getting ready. Trojans also getting ready. A bunch of the Mustangs conjoining up on that left-hand side. As we see all 5 of the Trojans looking to get a gank in on the Mustangs here. Alice, the only member of the Mustangs around. All 5 of them look to go in on Alice as they'll move back. Mustangs, meanwhile, trying to take an early look at the jungle. You see them on, if you're looking at the mini-map on that left-hand side, they're over there.
Minions have spawned.
Mustangs, 3 of them see at least 1 member of the Trojans. As everyone kind of moves things around, Buns will get attacked. That mid lane fight will start. Jace will be our jungler. Give me your Buns, Bun will be your mid laner. The bottom lane, like I said before, Dogart and Alice are the 2 members of our team down there. It's a little bit of a skirmish happening. Everyone's just running around doing their jobs for the opening portion of this game. See a little bit of a fight happening in that top lane with Retro up there. Jace coming up to support Retro. Looking for that first kill of the game, the first blood. And they'll just push him off. Definitely see a lot of Jace in that top lane helping Retro out. Little skirmish is happening all over the place. Bun looking a little low. Retro. A couple of little attacks happening up top. Mustangs in that bottom lane almost pushed up to that tower. They won't push fully up there, but they'll be around. Meanwhile, similar situation just in the favor of the Trojans up top. Now we're getting closer here. In that mid lane, a fairly even battle. As we are just in the final minute before we get our first dragon spawn, our Drake. As Retro, able to bait out as, I don't even know what this is about. First blood goes to the Mustangs there. I apologize for some reason League of Legends cutting out there. But the Mustangs able to grab first blood. Retro and Jace will both go back to get their first weapons of the game. As that first Drake is about to land in about 20 seconds. We'll see who wants to grab it. The Mustang strategy last week was not to get the Drakes, but a couple of big wins there. So we'll see what the Mustang strategy is this week. A little bit of a different team, different strategies, different players. So we will see here in just 1 second. As a gank looking in on that mid lane. Jace again coming to support as the Mustangs jungler. As Bun will get out of there, who move with Jace down to the first Drake. And the Mustangs are going to take this Drake. And the Mustangs will grab the Chemtech Drake. First Drake of the game. It will grant them extra attack speed. And the Mustangs grab yet another advantage with that Chemtech Dragon. As it looks like the Trojans are going to go up top for that Baron. Not a Baron. Rift Herald. Or no, it's not the Rift Herald anymore. It's the Void Grub. So they'll go up for that Void Grub. And they will grab the Void Grub, which grants them some extra abilities themselves. It grants extra damage to all defenses, so turrets, things like that. So that will definitely help the Trojans. Both teams with an advantage now as we get through the first 6 minutes, still in the early game here. Retro keeping things even up top after that first nice little kill. As we again see Jace lurking in the background up near Retro. A little underleveled in the mid lane and in the top lane, but not by all too much. Bun's gonna go in. And as soon as he goes in, he'll go out. But putting in some really good damage on the Trojans mid laner. Big fight happening up top. Retro at about half health. They'll look to get out of there fairly quickly. As we are looking all so much closer now. Mustangs up by almost 1k gold, which is nice in these early stages. But as we know, things can change very quickly. Mustangs have got a nice little advantage brewing in that bottom lane, though. As Bun and Jace go in on the mid laner, they'll be able to take him out. They'll have a little bit of turret damage to deal with, but not much else. Meanwhile, unable to cope in the bottom lane, while in the top lane, the opposite effect. As we see Retro make his way back into the fight. We see Jace moving his way back to the shop. As well as Bun. Meanwhile, the tables have turned here in the bottom lane. Darkheart and Alice both get back from buying some nice items. And they'll look to take the fight to these two bottom laners. Alice goes in. Heavy damage on Alice, though. Darkheart able to come back, but the jungler comes in. Alice might be taken out here. Alice will be taken out. This turns into a massive team fight. As we see members of both teams join in. Jace will join in. So he'll look to defend the one remaining bottom lane. Alice is back up. Retro goes in for an attack, but it has backfired. Retro getting to put in some nice damage on his own, but he's already looking a little low. And the Mustangs looking to take the Void Grubs as they will respawn. 10 minutes in. Or that might not, that's the Rift Herald that is going in now. Mustangs will look to take it here. They'll get some extra damage. Or no, it is Void Grubs again. I apologize. And the Mustangs looking like they're going to want to take that there, as the next Drake will probably look to spawn in fairly soon as well. Mustangs unopposed when it comes to the Void Grubs here, but Retro looking a little low, as Alice will look to take him down. Jace will look to clean up that final Void Grub as the Drake has spawned in, and the Mustangs will look to, the Trojans are going to look to take that, and I believe that's a Cloud Drake, and without much resistance, though, the Trojans will grab that Cloud Drake, will grant them increased movement speed when they aren't fighting. So a very nice way to get back and move things around on the playing field. Meanwhile, the Mustangs still with the 1K gold lead, as Alice looks to get some damage on herself. She'll be able to get out of there. Jace looking close on that gank as Bun is there. Retro looking to get out of a losing fight on the top lane. Will he be able to do it? He will. He'll just barely be able to get out of there. Bun putting in some good damage in that top lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane here, leveling fairly even. Everyone's fairly even here. As we look to get into the mid game, that's starting fairly soon. Mustangs look to take the reins full force here, up 2-1 on kills. Alice, the only member of the Mustangs to fall so far. Retro coming out of that fight fairly unscathed. We love to see it. Meanwhile, things looking dicey in the bottom lane. Jace leveling up just fine. Big damage there on Alice as they'll choose to just move back. Get things ready to go. Retro, meanwhile, looking like he's keeping things, you know, nice and even on his end in that top lane. Will we see our first tower fall in the mid lane? Certainly a possibility. Retro's going to look to get into a little bit of a skirmish here. And he will. We'll see Jace come in. Much to the dismay of this top laner. Jace looking low, but he'll be able to take him down. Darkart looks to get out of there, but big damage on his end as well. Looking good. As the next Drake will be spawning fairly soon here. Alice caught alone up near the Rift Herald that has spawned. Alice will look to get out of there. She'll be able to. Bun's there to support. Everyone's going to be looking to get after this Rift Herald, who is fully out of his spot. Things are looking close in the bottom lane. Darkart will fall, unfortunately. As we see most of the Mustangs up top, they'll look for a team fight win here. As they'll push the Trojans out. They stall one. He's looking low. Mustangs will be able to take it. Bun will grab that kill. Meanwhile, Bun looking a little low, but not low enough. He'll go after another. He'll grab another. Two Mustangs looking low, though. Two of them will fall. Bun also looking low. He'll fall. Alice, the only one left. Alice will fall as well. Dargard will respawn and won't be considered an ace. But all of the Mustangs out of commission. And now, with that, the Trojans will look to take this fight to the Rift Herald. For those of you that don't know, killing the Rift Herald will grant you the Rift Herald to use. Does major damage against turrets. Definitely a very powerful item to have in this mid-game that we have now entered. Meanwhile, first tower will fall, and it's the Trojans will be able to grab it. That Rift Herald looking low. And the Trojans will grab the Rift Herald. Meanwhile, the Drake has also respawned. The Mustangs will look to grab that. Let's see what happens there. And the Ocean Drake will go the Mustang's way, granting missing health and mana regen when you aren't fighting. And that is going to be a really powerful one to have for the Mustangs, as these engagements so far have been few and far between, each team playing it slowly as the Mustangs look to take another tower, or take their first tower off of the Trojans. 6-5 though, and in the gold race, the Mustangs down by about 0.6k. But Alice and Dargar playing things powerful here. But Alice, once again, up front, will look to get triple teamed. She's looking a little low, but she'll be able to get out of there. Bun, meanwhile, getting himself involved in a fight towards the mid lane. Jace gets himself involved. Alice and Dargar come to defend. They'll grab a kill. Alice looking even further forward here, puts in big damage on one of the bottom laners. Meanwhile, Jace able to put in some incredible damage, and Alice gets herself a kill. Meanwhile, Bun in the mid lane will be joined by Alice. He's made his way downwind, and while destroying a turret, Darkheart moves forward. He'll grab a kill before he has killed himself. And the Mustangs have taken a turret and then some. They'll get a couple of really nice kills on the Trojans. 7-8 now as the Mustangs take a 1k gold lead. Definitely help them in the progression as we get further into the mid game here. Oh, and Retro looking for a nice little kill of his own in that top lane. Retro looking low. He will fall, unfortunately. But a great effort made by him. The Baron and the Ocean Drake are the next two to show up as we'll get past the 20-minute mark. And that Baron is going to be a big fight as Bun able to avenge his teammate, or at least he will try to, in the top lane. Nope, he'll get ganked. And Bun looking to get out of there. And he'll fall to the turret. Meanwhile, in that bottom lane, found alone, he will fall to Alice. As we are just 40 seconds away from the Baron Noir and the Cloud Drake spawning. Jace grabbing some scuttle in the midfield. Blue team summoned their Rift Herald in that middle lane. They'll be able to take down that turret with it. Mustangs look to engage though. Alice getting double teamed up top. Dargart looking to assist. He'll be the first to fall. Jace also looking low. He'll fall. And what the Mustangs thought was a good fight will soon turn into a slaughter on their behalf. Bun, the only one alive, as he'll meet the rest of this team charging down the mid lane. Rift Herald, or the Baron, is there. And with all 5 of the members of this team alive, they'll go all in on it. They'll be granted a huge buff once they're able to kill it. Four out of 5 members of the Trojans go back to their shop as they'll gear up an inflection of cash and abilities as they take down the Baron. Darkheart able to get out of there. Taking over the mid lane for just a second. Jace and Alice look to take down 2 members of this team. Jace grabs one. Will Alice be able to grab another? I believe, yeah, Alice will. This huge, absolutely massive team fight. Alice and Darkheart able to grab another. Buns will get himself involved. And 3 Mustangs are able to take down 3 members of the Trojans. Jace, the only one to fall. They'll take down that center turret while they're at it. They'll look to get even more damage in on yet another turret as they'll use what abilities they have. Bun, Darkheart, and Alice will make their way back here. Meanwhile, on the top lane, things look a little dire for Retro. A lot of power given from the Baron. Retro able to thwart the attack for now, but how much longer? Meanwhile, the Drake out of its cage. Darkheart goes in on it. But we got 3 members of this Trojans roster. They're going to look to try to steal it here. As we get involved, Darkheart will fall first. Meanwhile, Jace and Alice, or Bun and Alice get involved. Jace finds one. He'll grab a kill. Jace looking for another in that top. He'll find him. Will it be in vain as Alice falls? Jace looking low as well. And Retro, the only one alive after that fight. The Mustangs look strong in the beginning, but unable to finish it off. As we see yet another one of the Ocean Drakes. And that will probably end up going the way of the Trojans. And an Ocean Drake taken down, missing health and mana regen. While not fighting, will now go to the Trojans. The Mustangs still have it, but the Trojans now will also have that ability. Retro looking to take down that first tower in the top lane. Not much opposition there. Now the Mustangs find themselves in a very tricky position, down by 2k gold, 2 kills, even on the Barons, but not even on the Barons, even on the Drakes, but that Baron and Rift Herald have really come back to bite them in the butt as a gank. Retro and Jace on the top lane. Scuttle being taken out in the river. Another Baron spawning in just a minute and 16 seconds. As we shift from the mid game to the end game here. Bun sparing some time so Jace can get involved. Jace gets the kill before Bun gets eaten. Very good moves there from the Mustangs. "40 seconds now. Mustangs only down by about 1k gold. That gap's still very close between these two teams. The Mustangs gear up. They know that they need this Baron in order to try to get any type of victory going here. It's going to be a team fight and a brutal one at that. Retro, you got at least three members of this Trojans team. And the Baron has spawned. Both teams very much circling around. The Mustangs definitely, you know, not in the best position for this fight, but they still need to take it. The initial contact is taken from the Mustangs. Heavy damage being poured into Alice. As the Mustangs run around, they'll find one, and the first member of the Trojans will fall. It's like frantically for any other kills. Mustangs fully pushing back this Trojans defense as they want all 5 members to get the effects of the Baron. As another Ocean Drake sets up to spawn here, the Mustangs push their way back. But it looks like the Trojans not far behind. The Mustangs choosing to defend the Baron rather than take it down, as they know the second they start that fight, these Trojans will be all over them. And they'll look to come in and make another effort to take down these Mustangs. We're not as healthy as they were at the beginning of the last fight. The tension is building here. As that Cloud Drake has now spawned, and it looks as though the Trojans are going to go in on it. Meanwhile, the Mustangs take their opportunity. They go in on the Baron. The Baron at this stage will be a lot better for the Mustangs here. All 5 of them are alive. They'll grab the effects here. The Ocean Drake goes the way of the Trojans. Meanwhile, the Baron goes the way of the Mustangs. They'll find themselves in a good position now as they'll look to claw back this game. As another turret is destroyed, this time in the top lane. Mustangs up by 1k gold even on kills, as we are definitely in the end game now. Fairly even game, you know, despite what it's looked like. Both these teams in really good positions, as we might see another team fight brewing. Alice, Doggart, and Jace all find themselves towards the edges of the mid lane. Mustangs look to take that second tower and start to open things up for themselves. Jace looking to take one from the back, and he'll be able to put in some mega damage there. Gonna be able to take them down. Meanwhile, Mustangs grab a double kill. They'll look for a triple. They'll get the triple. They'll take that down mid. Meanwhile, Bun on the bottom end. The Mustangs oh so much stronger here in the end game as they'll look to take the inhibitor now. They'll take the inhibitor, and they are just hungry for more. They move up with this Baron power, and they'll take the turrets in the midfield. I was not expecting this. The Mustangs look to take it here and now. As a huge team fight breaks out, the Mustangs grab the second turret. They'll grab it and win game 1. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. An ace from the Mustangs right at the end. A cherry on top as they'll take victory here in game 1. Things definitely slow as we progress, but the Mustangs take it in game 1. As we now get ready for game 2, we'll see switches in this lineup. As we now wait patiently for round 2 to start, the Mustangs building up some incredible tempo at the end and really caused an incredible victory there. As we now sit and get ready. As we are now definitely getting into things, the Mustangs with a big win in game 1. They'll look to take game 2 and make it a clean sweep of the Trojans here tonight. But obviously, anything can happen. Mustangs ready to go. And I assume the Trojans will also be ready to go in just a second here. And we'll get into our second draft of the night. Like I said before, the Mustangs looking to take it. Meanwhile, the Trojans are looking for a win and to force a game 3. As no subs for game 2. Retro stays in that top lane position. We'll see what he'll be able to do, but played beautifully in game 1. He's an unranked player, so for him, it was just damage mitigation. He did a great job to do it. So hopefully we'll see that out of him. Jace playing that jungle position really well, a position that he enjoys playing. Darkheart and Alice in that bottom lane played powerful and were able to, grab a real advantage down there. And Buns in the mid lane also played a great game himself and came out with a great win. And we just now wait patiently as we get things started here for game 2 in just 1 second. I say 1 second, it's going to take a lot longer than 1 second. We got to do the draft again, and we got to wait those 4 fun minutes. So we'll see some new team comps out of the Mustangs here as we look to get things definitely on track. And it's just this little bit of a waiting game. So we'll definitely see the same comp that we saw before in the positions. Retro in that top lane, Jace on jungle, Bun in the mid lane, and Darkheart and Alice in the bottom lane. So that should be a very fun combination for the Mustangs indeed. And now we just look patiently as we wait for, I assume, the Trojans to be ready. All right, Trojans are ready, Mustangs are ready, and we can get this draft started. And just like before, 3 bans both sides, 3 picks both sides, 2 bans, 2 bans, 2 picks, 2 picks.
You can't cage me for long.
Impure fools.
Why not? My scissors don't bite.
You overstep.
And as we can see here, first 3 bands out of the way fairly quickly as we get into the first 3 picks now.
Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Final bands coming and going. We got 3 left to go, and then the final 4 picks for game 2.
I'm on to you.
Your commands tire me!
Here we go, the final 2 picks, Alice, and then a member of the Trojans, and then our 4-minute waiting period. Pick is in. The final pick going to the Trojans here as they'll look to force a game 3 out of the Mustangs. Mustangs will definitely not go down without a fight, but they really ramped things up there for that push they got after taking down the Baron. We'll look to do something similar here in game 2. Here we go. Both teams are going to prep their loadouts, and we got our 3-minute waiting period, and then we'll get things started. Just a minute away now from this great game 2 as we get things ready to go here. The Mustangs in a good position to take it and improve to 3-1 in the NJCAAE League. But the Trojans will definitely have something to say about that as they look to get involved here and force a game 3. They look really strong. For those of you that missed game 1, they looked incredibly strong in the initial and the mid game, but the Mustangs able to hold them off until late into the end game, where they took complete control and ran up the field. Now with the game loading in, here we go. Don't worry, my screen is black too, as we are about to get things started. And here we are on our loading screen. We'll look at mastery info and player info. And then we'll just wait patiently to load ourselves into game 2. And here we are, very quickly as well. I get to fiddle with all the settings. I don't need fog war. School board, dark controls. And here we go, the Mustangs looking to get into things here immediately. We have now switched sides. Mustangs are in a great position here. So we see Embercy shouting out Alice and Retro in chat. Great to have you here, Embercy. Embercy, a member of our Overwatch 2 team. And definitely cheering on 2 other members of the Overwatch teams, Retro and Alice. And here we go, minions have spawned, and the Mustangs will spread out in order to get things started here in Summoner's Rift. Mustang C2, I think Bun is either trying to bait them out or trying to do something else. I think they're going to try to do a gank here. Not sure what they're doing. And they will go in for a gank. They are seen in the process, though, so they'll look to get out of there very quickly. Sneaky out of the Mustangs. Retro, a couple of skirmishes in the top lane and in that bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid lane, things will get started there as well. Jace firmly in the jungle. Retro getting some good damage in up top, keeping himself alive, which is nice. First bit of damage coming in on the Mustangs turret in that bottom lane where the Mustangs were oh so strong last game. We'll hope for them to be able to keep it up.
Never falter.
Skirmishes brewing around here. Definitely see some gank possibilities in that top. Looking closer and closer to that engagement in the bottom lane. Everyone's tied in every respect of the word. As you see Jace go in. He'll be joined by Retro, but will he really need it? Yes, he will. Bun looks to go in, help with that first kill, but Retro is there. First blood goes to the Mustangs. As Bun looking like he'll be first blood as well. Alice and Dargart in the bottom lane will be able to get a nice little kill there. Dargart looking to protect Alice, won't be able to do it, but he will be able to avenge. And he'll grab it. Mustangs up 3-1. Meanwhile, Jace goes in on the mid laner as once again, my game likes to close. We'll get back into things. Mustangs unable to get that final kill in the mid lane. Bun is still there, though. Retro, however, in the top lane, looking low. He'll be able to get out of there, but with very low health. But good moves from him in order to stay alive. Retro trying to get out of there once again. He will be able to. But again, that health is fairly low, and not a lot of it is coming back in between those little skirmishes. So we'll need to get out of there fairly soon. First Drake has spawned along with Void Grubs. Not sure which Drake it is. We'll figure that out in a minute. Retro defending his turret with everything that he's got. Mustangs looking to take the Mountain Drake here. Or I think it's either the Mountain or the Infernal. And a team fight has begun. Jace looking to get in some good damage, but he's going to get attacked from all sides. Jace will fall. Meanwhile, Alice and Darkheart look to get out of there. Alice will fall. Retro in the top lane, trying to get out of there. He will not fall, but the Trojans are going to look to grab this first Drake, and with 4 of them there, they will be able to do it. I don't know if it's a Mountain or an Infernal, though. I think it's an Infernal. We'll see in just a second. Trojans will take down the Drake, and it will be a Infernal Drake, granting extra ability power and attack damage to these the Trojans. Meanwhile, up top, Jace pouring on the damage to the top laner. Will it be enough? That overhealth will take down Jace. Retro grabs the kill, though. As it looks like the Trojans now making their way up top to grab the Void Grubs. And that will grant extra damage to their turrets. Still firmly in this early game, and the Mustangs find themselves down. But they'll still be up in gold and up, or tied for kills. Alice and Darkheart going in on that turret. Already looking fairly low, about half health. Retro and the enemy top laner both back up to full health as Jace trying to bait out some damage here. Still in that bottom lane, damage being poured onto that turret. Jace will make his way back to the shop. Only about a minute and a half away from our second Drake spawning. Retro feeling confident in that top lane. He starts an engagement. He's going to want to finish it as well, but not now. Great damage there. Great surprise there from Retro. Heavy damage being poured in on that bottom turret. Dargheart able to make his way back. He'll put in some good damage himself. Bun gets into a skirmish in the middle lane. We'll be able to get out of there fairly quickly. A gank on Alice and Doggart. Alice looks low. She'll be able to get out of there. And Doggart able to grab one, but Alice will fall. Using the last of his abilities there. Will she fall? No, she won't. Very little health for the opposing Trojan player. Down to their last, like, probably 5 or 10 health.
Focus. Gaia not.
Retro gets into a fight in that top lane. He'll grab himself some overhealth. Will he be able to do anything, though? He will be taken down. Mustangs down 5-8 and down by gold by 1K. Retro respawns. He'll make his way back up. Mustang still looking to take down that first turret. Quarter health for it.
Never fall.
Bun able to dodge the initial attempt at a gank. Bun will be able to get out of there. As we get ready to start up the mid-game here, as we transfer from the early game to the mid-game. Next, Drake and the Void Grubs will spawn.
Never fall.
We'll probably see a massive team fight here, as both the Mustangs and the Trojans looking for the best fight possible. All the abilities they can possibly muster. Mustangs go in on the Drake. Alice pushing off the advancing Trojans, as the Mustangs will be able to grab it. They'll grab an Ocean Drake. Missing health and mana regen when you aren't fighting is the ability that it grants you. Meanwhile, up top, champions. I am not sure what the Champions Bloom is. We'll see what that's all about. The Void Grubs go in the way of the Trojans. That turret in the top lane as Retro struggles to get back. Will probably be the first turret taking down this game. That's right. Alice looking close to death. Alice will fall. Meanwhile, Doggart looking again for some revenge here, as Jace will join him in the bottom lane. Doggart gets surrounded and he'll be taken down. Jace looking low. He'll look to get out of there. He won't be able to. Jace will fall. Definitely still in that early game, but big moves being made by these Trojans. Doggart and Alice both get back. Retro putting in some good damage there as Jace will show up to assist. Will Retro survive the encounter, though, is the question. No, he will not, but Jace looking for some revenge here. And he will get away. Retro making that attack for naught. Darkheart and Alice in the bottom. So get things ready to go. Engagement starts down below. Alice once again looking low. Darkheart coming to Alice's defense. Will it cost him? The turret has been destroyed, this time in the bottom lane. Mustangs will take their first turret there. Darkheart able to get out. Or no, not able to. I did not see that he was killed. But they'll look to take down this turret against the Mustangs. And they will be able to do it. Drake is spawned and the Void Grubs have also respawned. Sorry, the Rift Herald. And it looks as though another advantage going towards the Trojans, as once again they're having a great attempt at grabbing a third game against the Mustangs. Jace able to force out the mid laner here as he'll go in on him. Jace will be, mid laner will be joined there as Retro gets himself into an engagement. Jace heavy damage on him. Darkheart comes to the defend. Alice will join him as well. Everyone will get out of there. Alice gets triple ganked, however. She'll look to get out of there. Will she be able to do it, though? Nope. She'll get killed. Darkheart now getting hit from the top laner. Overhealth will prove to be enough as he'll still look to get out of there. He'll still get killed, that time by Darkheart. And red team will grab the Chemtech Drake. Extra attack speed granted to the Trojans now. Great work from them. Now with a 4K gold lead as we enter into the mid game. And that Rift Herald has spawned in the middle lane, gives them a bigger advantage down the mid. Huge damage against that second turret. Mustang's unable to take him down. Everyone kind of convening up. The start to a fight looks near. Mustangs down by a whole lot right now, though. So look to get their way back.
Focus. Last we are known.
Number of the Trojan goes in on Bun.
Never
Bun will fall, unfortunately, there. Unfortunately, out of the Mustangs, they keep on losing these fights. to get their way back into things as we are firmly into the mid-game now. Mustangs find themselves in a tough position. That Baron coming in just 6 or 7 seconds now. It should be spawning in any second. Bun will fall yet again in that bottom lane. As Jace looks to get himself a kill, he'll be able to do it. Dargart fending off the rest of the fighting Trojans. They'll look to make their move up. Baron has spawned. The Mustangs need to grab this Baron in order to keep themselves in a pretty competitive position here. Otherwise, this uphill battle just became a vertical one. Trojans over near that Baron. We'll look to take it soon. Another chem take. Ooh, not sure what happened there. A chem tech Drake gonna spawn here fairly soon. As both teams look to move forward as quickly as possible. A little bit of an engagement starting. Dargart, Alice, Bun, and Jace are all there. Retro, meanwhile, in that top lane, trying to defend things. Another turret has been destroyed against the Mustangs. That Chemtech Drake will be taken down from the Trojans. The Mustangs going after the Baron, but they are lurking for a team fight here, as they'll look to take down any link they can. Remember, if everyone isn't alive, not everyone gets the abilities. The Mustangs able to grab it before anyone falls, but a losing battle here. As 3, almost 4, it's going to be 4 Mustangs have fallen here. And really not the best. But the Mustangs grab the Rift Herald. They'll gain some extra abilities for a short period of time. They'll look to make the most of that. Down by 12 kills and 4K gold. They'll look to turn things around as we go in from this end game, and it looks like I was wrong. The Rift Herald went to the direction, not the Rift Herald, the Baron went in the direction of the Trojans. They're gonna look to make some major damage here with this ability. Able to steal it away from the Mustangs, who put in most of that work. Another Baron spawning in just under 5 minutes. Will the Mustangs be able to hold off for that long? Mustangs unable to find opportunities here in game 2. They'll look to find them as we get into the late game. Mustangs looking to force some success here. It's another team fight is amped up to begin. All 10 players are in the same area. Mustang's able to grab a turret. They'll go down for that Chemtech Dragon that is about to spawn. Alice gets stunned though. He'll be taken down. There goes Jace. Retro slowed. Doggart will also fall. Bun's also looking close. We'll bring it down that mid lane. The last of the Mustang's turret in the bottom lane, other than their turrets at spawn, still looking a little low. Meanwhile, the Mustangs very little progress down that mid lane. Mustangs now using their, they've got some objective bounties there. They'll look to use them. That Chemtech Dragon definitely getting close to spawning in less than a minute out. Definitely look forward to seeing that fairly soon. Another Chemtech Dragon has spawned. Both teams about to get into a heavy skirmish here. Will the Mustangs engage? They will not. A 4th dragon for the Trojans. And a lot of extra attack speed for them as they now have 3 Chemtech Dragons slain. A minute away from that Baron to respawn. A must win for the Mustangs. If they are unable to take down the Baron, and it goes the way of the Trojans, this game is all but over for them, and there will be a game 3. Baron has spawned. Who's gonna get it? Everyone crowded over in the same spot. Mustangs looking to split up the Trojans here, maybe. Teamfight has started. Jace goes after one. Retro, meanwhile, caught out by 3. Retro first to fall in the team fight. Alice will now fall. Mustang is able to grab 1 kill there. Mustangs are able to force another fight out of these guys. They'll chase him down. Dark Art will fall though. Jace also looking close. And there's an ace against the Mustangs. Not looking good for them at all here in game 2. We'll start that work on the Baron. Or to take it down. % of the way there. Retro looks to swoop in. Alice does as well. Will they be able to get it though? Retro keeps them occupied. He puts in some big damage. But it will not be enough. The Baron goes to the Trojans. They'll take down Retro. They'll look to take down Alice as well. The rest of the Mustangs are back in action, but for how much longer? As the Trojans make their way down the center to take this game away from the Mustangs and force a game 3.
Never falter.
Jace the first to fall. Here we go. Take out that bottom turret. Taking it down the middle. Mustangs are there to try to put up a fight. That bottom turret has been destroyed. They're able to grab that center turret away from the Mustangs.
Never falter.
Elder Dragon will spawn fairly soon. The Mustangs are going to want to take that one especially. It boosts every single ability that the other Drakes have given to you. They're going to want that one. Meanwhile, as it comes into play, swarming it pretty much are the Trojans. They immediately start to attack. And a huge team fight breaks out. Jace the first to fall. close behind him, Doggart. As the Mustangs try to keep this one alive. And it looks like the Trojans will take down this Elder Dragon. They'll use that ability to move in and finish off this game. Looks like they'll be able to force that game 3 after all. Inhibitor taken down. They'll go for the turrets next. All 5 of them are going to take the long way around. They'll leave the Mustangs to clean up. Only 2 turrets left defending the Mustangs. Mustang still looking to defend here.
Play it loud.
With an 11k gold lead and 23 kill lead, the Trojans look to end it here with an attack down in the bottom lane. The Mustangs looking to defend. None of the Mustangs taken down as of yet. Definitely a tough position to be in, only with 2 turrets defending their core. And once again, the Trojans tend to leave. Move that is very confusing to me. They have all the firepower in the world, yet they crave more as another Baron prepares to spawn. Baron has spawned. Trojans will go in on it. They'll take it down too. And now they all go back to spawn. In moves that have become increasingly more confusing to me.
Never falter.
Almost 40 minutes into this game now. The Mustangs down to 2 turrets. Facing down the barrel of a gauntlet right now. Here comes the Trojans. They come in. They'll take out all 5 of the Mustangs, at least attempt to. They go in on the turrets. That's going to do it for game 2. The Trojans grab it away from the Mustangs, and they force a game 3 here tonight. Quick look at the stat line before we get involved yet again. as we wait for that invite. The Mustangs played a decent game one. Unfortunately, game two fell short as we now just kind of wait. As we now wait patiently for us to get invited to this game. We'll bring it to a quick break and we will be right back with our game three. All right, and welcome back. I am now recognizing that I need to add a channel here because we have got ourselves a guest host on here. We got Retro. Of course, you guys aren't able to hear him right now because I forgot to put audio onto this channel. So let me... Not that one. I need to figure out here. No, not that one. Application, Discord. Let's see here. See, this is the fun part. I've got to like move things around, and then we move things around again. I added it to the wrong one. Give me 1 sec. Okay. You can't hear it. Retro's talking in my ear saying that there's always audio issues, and there always is. I love it so much. Up, and it looks like the draft has started, so this won't matter because once we get into Watch League of Legends,
You also have to stream it for me.
Oh, and it works, so you guys will be able to hear Retro.
Hello. Were they able to hear me?
I believe so.
We'll know in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right, you're also gonna have to stream your screen because I am not able to see the.
Right,
things.
I'm gonna have to do that. Let me set that up and let me start the downfall of this 10-year-old PC. It might be a good thing that we don't activate your cam this game because
that might crash.
That would crash everything. Oh my god, the bans have already happened, the first 3 bans. And we'll get into the picking phase of things.
Yeah, TF ban. I know that TF and Kindred are the 2 picks that are like high on our side at least. So
yeah, and I will say I know one character, the McCoy. I've played him before. He's a tree.
Oh, Maokai? Yeah.
That's how you pronounce his name?
Maokai. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we learn something new every
now
day.
you know.
And now I am learning.
I want to be here correcting your grammar on every.
I mean, that's why I don't
now.
say any of the champions' names. I even do it with Valorant sometimes where I just don't say.
Yeah. Speaking of Valorant, the martyr guy that played the other day is actually his name is actually pronounced Madar.
Like Toe Madar?
So, yeah, like Toe
Okay.
Madar.
Okay.
Just a
See,
little heads up, but
this is what happens when you come back into the casting booth with me, Retro. You
I'm
figure
just
out
here to
very
just-
quickly that the dad jokes are gonna come back.
oh no.
As it looks like a member of the opposing team just picked Zarya.
How do you see a Zarya in that? Because of the
Oh.
Mohawk?
I honestly, in the way that she was standing, was very much like a Zarya position to be standing in.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
also a
And
very
of course,
scary thing.
Anthony playing Volbear. You can see a Jinx pick.
Yeah, Jinx is very good, as we saw from the first game of how our ADC was able to pop off.
We'll see if their ADC is able to as well. I think this is the most I've
Ooh,
talked
we got a
during the draft.
Kaisa.
Nice. Why is that
Kaisa
a nice
and a
pick?
Jinx. Kaisa and Jinx are probably one of the most hyper carry DPSs in the game, so this should be an interesting and I mean an interesting bot lane going on. It'll either
Yeah.
be one. It's very push pull this, so depending on whoever wins bottom lane, that is definitely going to be a game breaker for this.
Yeah, and I will say that bottom lane has proved important all night long. When it comes down to it, looking at, bot lane, during game 1, we saw that, it was a lot of push and pull. And, we saw that in the top lane too. I want to give you your kudos here, Retro. As we get into things, you played for being the only unranked person in the game. You played that top lane for those first 2 games very, very well. And,
Thank
it's
you.
all about damage mitigation. And I think you did a wonderful job. Obviously, you didn't really win top lane both times, but definitely in game one, you kept things even enough that mid and bottom lane could do their jobs to push things forward, and that's really all that they needed out of you.
Yeah, I mean, as a top laner, I mean, in both those games, I did get counterpicked twice. As I played Orin, Gwen counters me, and as I played Set, Mordecai counters me. For weirdly enough, they're counterpicking the sub, aka the guy who almost never plays this video game. But it's actually surprising how much I was able to hold myself against the counter picks. And for the first one, me not dying is so much more value than me trying to make a play. So just
Yeah.
like in this game especially, just not dying is so worth compared to like other games like Overwatch and like Valorant. Or I guess Valorant has the equal side of not dying to League, but
No, yeah, but I get what you're saying, and I get how this is all set up. But definitely a good game three setup here. We'll get to see Anthony, who is the second string in the top lane. Um, can we consider you the third string in the top lane, or is this just like I was
well,
around so I could
we'll
help?
say temporary. We'll say temporary.
Temporary. All right, I enjoyed that, but
Yeah. I
about
come
20.
and I go.
Yeah, something like that. Now we're about 25 seconds away from our 3-minute waiting period. As we get ready to go
So
here
on top
for
of the
game
3-minute
three.
wait, there's another 3-minute wait.
Yeah, this is the fun of streaming League of Legends. Um, because this timer's gonna tick down, and then we have to wait 3 minutes, and then after that 3 minutes, then it starts to actually load the match. So we have to wait for it to load, and that takes like another minute.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's the
That's always scary.
beauty of this game. And
Well, since I know a little bit about the game, I guess I could talk about the lineups on both teams.
please take the floor.
Just- All right. Well, so as we see on, let me see, what team are we versing? I don't even see their name.
We're up
And
against the Trojans.
Trojans. Okay, so on the Trojan side, we got an Alawi, a Vi, a Vagar, a Jinx, and a Maokai. The Vagar was a band that was always in our minds for both games. I guess they were so focused on that Tom Kench pick from last game that they wanted that band instead of a Vagar band. So we'll see how that goes. Against the Azir in the mid lane. Might be an interesting fight. Probably Azir is going to have to play very defensive on his side. Ilawi and Volibear top lane though, that's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be a lot of either Volibear has to go all in or Ilawi's just going to have to poke him down enough to where she can all in. So that's also another. I mean, all these fights are very interesting, but that's just a very ground set of what each side is looking for in their little laning phases. And
Yeah,
as for bot lane, that's just gonna be a gamble. It's just whoever has the better skill down bot lane, I believe. I
yeah.
don't think one ADC has a better advantage over the other between these two characters, but if I had to say, I want to give it to our Kaisa if I had to choose.
Yeah, I want to
So
give it to our team too. I think who's on Kai'Sa? I believe that's Alice, and then Dogart will be on the
I think
Taric.
Alice is on Taric.
Uh
So Alice has been playing support all night. So
oh, true. See, this is how little I know about League of Legends, and it really makes me mad because I learn a single lineup from you guys, or at least try to learn some of these characters. But we've seen 3 completely different lineups from both teams here tonight. So that's 15 characters. Not 50, it's 30 characters, 60 if you include the bands that have been all over the place. And here we go into the game. Retro, can you see a black screen?
yeah.
Perfect. That's what I'm seeing. So we're good.
All right, I'll tell you if I see something. Now I do see something. All right, all good.
Perfect. So we'll show off the mastery info and the player info, and then we'll get ready to get things started here.
I mean, if we're going off mastery, we should win this. But the Vagar is a very scary character to play against, especially in the late game. If the enemy team's able to drag this fight off, then this will probably go very badly for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and we're hoping to see a win. You know, we don't want to go even here in the NJCAAE league. We want to go 3-2 in this league with the toughest acronym that I've ever had to say. I swear, it's awful. But obviously, as we get ready to go here, obviously very exciting things for all of our teams, playing very well on all fronts, but you know, especially the Overwatch 2 team, who we learned last night will be involved with the NACE playoffs. We've got a long and grueling schedule ahead of us, and it all starts with the West Texas A&M team, not next week, but the week after. So, you know, something to get excited about. I know you're excited about it, Retro.
Oh yeah, the NACE is going to be very interesting, especially trying to verse the Hornets at the Messiah again. So,
well,
hopefully we're able to pull our strengths there.
The way that it's looking right now is that if we beat West Texas, we go up against Messiah.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Have you looked at the bracket yet?
I have not myself, but
right. Sundown,
I'm a little intimidated to even look in
Sundown and I
the
did
direction of it.
one of the DPSs for the other DPS for the Mustangs. Sundown and I were up very late last night, later than I'd like to admit, watching Formula One qualifiers, and immediately after that, we looked at what this game was going to look like for the playoffs. So the winner of us versus West Texas will go up against sorry, Anthony is spamming in chat, if you guys can see it.
I don't know if he's trying to say that it's a troll pick or whatnot.
No, I just think Anthony is the troll pick, let's be real.
Let's just hope that he's able to do a good laning like I did in the first game. Not the second game, the first one.
Yeah. We'll definitely see. He loves that Volbear. So, definitely a character that he enjoys and knows how to operate with fairly well. So,
yeah, and
we'll
Volleyball is a
things
very
out of
good pick this semester. Or not this semester, this season for League of Legends. He's a very good pick, so...
Really knows how to set them up and spike them down, right?
Moving on.
Listen. I've been streaming for what? Just over 2 hours now. This was bound to happen at some point.
Oh god, I'm too tired for this. I just want my Dominoes. I'm waiting on that.
I said that a game and a half ago. But obviously the Mustangs in a great position here tonight, already pushed up to that bottom turret. So getting in some good damage there. First 2 minutes and 30 seconds come and gone as we're in the early stages of this game. We're about halfway there to our first Drake of the game and our first round of Void Grubs as well.
Yeah, as of right now, nothing going on. We do see a stun down bot lane. Not going to really do much with that. It looks like Volleyball is actually going. It looks like Anthony's actually going for a little bit of a play. Gets a nice little health trade going on there. Still even. Oh, he's going to have to dismiss after that one.
Move. Yeah,
oh, and a good flash.
Beautiful little flash out of him as he'll be able to get out with his life. Things looking good in that fight at the beginning, but unfortunately going belly up towards the end.
Yeah, a little risky to flash that late, but it was able to bait out the enemy flash. So it was a good trade for him. And it looks like Jace and Anthony are going to go on the Alawi. Are they going to get the pick? And that's first blood for Jace.
First blood, baby. And you see that play developing there. Jace always been one to cover that top lane. He did it with you, Retro, and he's doing it now with Anthony. And just a great job from the Mustangs. They'll grab first blood in that top lane and a 1K gold lead.
Yeah, that first blood is always very valuable. That's why the first of the game is so slow, especially on most games. But this one is a little bit of a turnaround, going not even 4 or 5 minutes past the timer, and they're already going in, getting that first blood, which is such a huge advantage, especially if you give that to the jungler, who is able to control most of the map in the early game.
And Jace moving very quickly around there. And speaking of advantages, less than 45 seconds now between this as Alice gets herself into a fight down at bottom. They're going to look for the gank on her, but she'll be able to move out of the way. And like I said, about 30 seconds now between the first Void Grubs and the Drake spawning in here. Looking very, very close. As things down bot lane are definitely heating up. Seen a lot of support
lot
from the
going
jungler.
Oh, we see a bit of a gank coming down mid, but as here, sorry, is able to flash out of that before he's able to get punished for the actions. Looks like Anthony's taking just a bit of tickle damage up top. Alawi is able just to do a bit of poke damage again from when I've said in the pick phase, where Alawi is just able to just get a little bit of tickle damage and trying to dwindle down his laner's HP.
Yeah.
And it looks like Trojans are able to get the first wave of Void Grubs solo by their jungler.
Very nice.
Very quick pick as well.
Oh, not nice. The Void Grubs should not be going to the Trojans. I just said
Yeah.
nice because
Oh,
it's like
actually, two are dead. Wait, Jace might be able to take the third to steal the last hit. I don't think he's aware of it, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, but unfortunately not able to do it. He'll come up looking to support Anthony yet again. Is Astral projecting himself? I'm not even sure what that ability is. Defending that turret fairly well, but definitely backed up.
Yeah, with Alawi, she's like the mother of the Kraken, so basically she's able to pull a tentacle and basically grab the soul of Anthony. But looks like we're gonna have another gank up top. Alawi popping ult. Anthony able to get out. Is Jace gonna be able to survive this? He's gonna have to flash. Anthony's somehow getting hit by the tentacles.
I don't think Anthony saw where those tentacles were. Jace looking close. As some of that additional damage might be enough. Oh, unfortunately taken down there, and as well on that bottom for the Drake. The Mustangs are going to leave that one fairly open.
Yeah, not a great follow-up for the Mustangs. Not being able to take out the Alawi there up top. Very good anti-gank character as well. It's unfortunate that they were not able to try and break that pressure that she has, but...
Yeah, and the Ocean Drake gonna go the way of the Trojans as well, granting them missing health and mana regen when they aren't fighting. And to answer the question that I currently see in chat, Anna, great to have you here as a first-time chatter. This is League of Legends. Our Mustangs are taking on the Trojans right now. Faring off pretty well here in Game 3 early on. So we see that all-important bottom lane fight going on.
Not much really going on. I think we're just doing a little bit of farming from each and every lane right now, especially the junglers in their own respective jungles.
And it's a big damage going in on that turret, almost a quarter of the way down. We're only 8 minutes in. Still very much in the early stages of this game, though. If you guys were here for the last game, you'll know that went for about 40 minutes. Alice Doggart looking for some big damage going into things. As Anthony able to start a big attack.
Anthony looks like he's going to be able to take on the Alawi. Oh, the lifesteal, though, coming in from her ult. Is Anthony's going to be able to take that?
He'll be able to get out of there. At least stay out of the way. He will. Lives to fight another day.
Just looks like there's a lot of lifesteal going on with that, Sheen and Alawi's ultimate. And looks like there was a gank command from the Trojans mid, but looks like Jace is gonna retaliate with that. Going to go for the
them fear the day. And he'll get out of there. As for the person in chat asking for the answer, we do run stream on a 3-minute delay, so you'll hear it in a couple of minutes and then hear this a couple of minutes after that. And obviously we can't answer your questions immediately here, but we'll look to answer them as quick as humanly possible. But again, that 3-minute delay does play a factor. So hopefully you won't start crying before you hear the answer. Making good progress in that bottom lane right now for Alice and Dogart.
Looks like they're just continuously shoving into the tower, which allows a little bit less CS for your enemy laner when you shove in the tower. It's a little harder to grab that CS if you do not know how to handle it right. But at the same risk and reward, there is a chance that you could get ganked when you shove your ally minions into your enemy tower. So there's a little bit of risk and reward there. You just got to be aware of where their jungler is, make sure there's no ganks happening on around you and whatnot.
Void Grubs looking like they're going to go the way of the Trojans yet again. So that's extra tower damage for them.
Looks like there's going to be a bit of tickle damage coming in here from the Alawi onto the Volley Bear. And Vi is able to take out the Void Grubs yet again.
Yeah, very powerful message as the Trojans have really controlled the Void Grubs, the Drakes throughout this match, but a big team fight happening down below as we get a nice little gank attempt. No one will fall, but the Mustangs definitely coming out of that one on top. As Jay still sticks around.
Flashes.
Yeah. That'll prove big as Jace will then flash. He won't be able to get out of the ultimate, but Alice coming to his defense. This fight will still go on as the Mustangs
looks
look
like a big one, a good R.
As all the Mustangs get the fight, almost all the Mustangs find themselves involved. Bun, the first to fall. Mustangs will not let that one go sitting down. Alice looks to get out of there, unable to do it. The Mustangs will take another there as well, though.
Looks like a 2-2 battle going down in the bot river. Not a bad fight for either team there. So as long as they're able to keep up that pressure, it looks like
Anthony,
it's going to be
once again looking low. He needs to get rid of some of these. Oh, never mind. He'll die.
Yeah.
Tentacles.
Unable to escape the wrath of the Kraken there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to have to sacrifice their first tower, granting Trojans another boost of gold, giving them a almost 1k lead. And it looks like we're gonna try and go for a kill here on the Veigar.
And they'll be able to grab it.
Azir.
Great moves out of the Mustangs, only down by 1 kill and about 0.8 gold currently. Obviously missing that top tower as we are in the opening stages of the mid game here. Getting very close to that.
Yeah, and also just to point out, we didn't get a visual indication of that, but we now have Jace, who is playing Kayn, now having the form swap. If you don't know League of Legends, Kayn is a character where at a certain point in time, he's able to switch between two forms, one an assassin, one more of a tanky lifesteal bruiser, and he has decided to go into, I think his name is... I can't remember his name, but he's gone to red game, which is basically making him a bruiser.
Got it. Mustangs now lose yet another Drake. This one a Cloud Drake. Increased movement speed when you aren't fighting, which is a big thing. Retro, can you talk us through what the Champion's Bloom is as this team fight is playing out here?
Well, before I talk into that, we should talk about what's going on our screens right now as a big team fight is coming out. As you're coming in, shoving in the wave, not able to make them escape down.
First blood goes against the Trojans as it looks like one of the other... Ooh.
Yeah,
Jay's still going to get a couple of kills, but will he be able to? Such little health. No, he won't. 4 out of 5 Mustangs taken out in that team
favorable
fight.
win. Favorable win for the Trojans there, unfortunately.
as they are up 10-6 currently in kills and grow their gold lead to 20, or to not to 25, just to 2.
All right, going back to what you were saying, tell me more about what do you mean by the bloom of the...
It said Champions Bloom with a dragon icon. I don't know what that is. I was trying to make it seem like I knew what that was without knowing what that was.
So yeah, after the second dragon, the third dragon is permanent and will be the one and only dragon for the rest of the game, and it also changes the stage of the arena a little bit. So I'm actually not sure what that dragon does specifically, but it will be the only dragon to show up for the rest of the game. I don't know exactly what it does to the map, but
I think it changes some things with the location of the Baron Den and things like that. Speaking of the Baron, not the Baron, but the Rift Herald is currently up and running. So teams are going to be going after that. A big advantage there, as yet another tower has been destroyed in the top lane here. As we get firmly into the mid game, and that Rift Herald being taken down as well. Now, to answer some questions that we see in chat right now, we are using the preferred name of all of these players. That's why some of them, our top laner, that's Anthony. But he likes to be called Anthony. He also plays for our varsity Rocket League team, and they all go by their real names. But meanwhile, Jace, that's his real name. But like Buns, as you can see right now on your screen, he's got a bit of a shorter name, or longer name than what we call him. So good things there. Jace able to get a kill in the bottom there, but not enough as a Rift Herald is spawned down the middle lane.
yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of the middle tower. As you're able to get out of there before his turret falls, able to make a wave come through. But that is one death taken away from the Trojans, just because Azir is just simply better.
As Jace goes in looking to make a pick. Bring out of it. Bun is over there. Bun or Azir. And we are firmly into the mid game right now. And Chemtech Drakes will be the only ones spawning for the rest of the game. They'll be spawning in about a minute and a half. And that's extra attack speed, which could really prove pivotal for the Mustangs. They haven't really looked to capture any of the Drakes so far this evening.
Yeah, not able to go for those objectives since every lane is heavily pressured. Top lane being down one level, mid lane looking in a favorable fight, and bot lane, mid lane being up one level and bot lane being even. Looks like Alawi's going to get ganked again, and pop her R. Looks like it's going to be too much of a gank for Alawi to even do anything, and looks like she's going to go down.
5
after so
to
long,
1.
after 17 minutes.
Self-destruction. What? Not sure what's happening there,
What's
but
that?
red team losing tons of turret. They just said a red team turret had been destroyed by self-destruction, so I was really confused there.
Yeah, Azir has a passive on a cooldown where he's able to right-click a tower that has fallen. So he was able, but that does tick down over time and only has so much life duration. And as we saw there, as I was saying, that our Volley Bear sadly falls to Veigar in just basically 2 shots.
Something like that. As the Mustangs now struggling in the bottom lane quite a bit. They've kept things fairly even, but they're about to lose a tower down there. And that will not bode well for them.
Yeah, Jace just trying to hold the back line to keep the bottom turret from falling down.
As that Chemtech
Drake
Drake has...
just gonna be
You go.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, it looks like we're gonna have a fight brewing down here in the bot lane for the dragon.
Oh yeah, we're about to see that happen about halfway through that Chemtech Dragon. And Jace caught out, big damage towards him. As he'll just barely
Not
be able
dead,
to get
though.
out there. Yeah, but that Chemtech Dragon still slain.
Yeah, and that puts Montco at a very huge disadvantage. One more dragon for the Trojans, and the Montco Mustangs are not going to be able to get any souls.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation for them. And a big fight going on. Will the Mustangs be able to get out of this one, though? Jace looking to get out of there. He won't be able to.
Oh.
2 Mustangs will fall. Jace and Anthony. And another 1 fight for the Trojans.
Yeah, not looking too good in the top lane where our Volley Bear is not having a very good KD record going on right now, going 0-4, but it's too early to tell who will come out on top here.
As
so,
it looks like the Trojans going in on that Baron, which will give them a ton of extra damage.
Oh, and I see Anna in chat saying that the Chemtech Drake is able to change the plants around the map, making them stronger. So, thank you for that little insight. We are both very, not very intelligent towards this game, as you can tell. So
I am definitely not looking at an iPad document right now with all of the abilities that are given to you by the Drakes. But the Baron gonna go the way of the Trojans, granting every member of the team that was alive, which was all of them in this case, the eye of the... Nope, that's the Herald. Herald...
Just the Baron buff.
Hand to Baron. I don't know, I looked up at the Rift Herald blurb, and then I immediately read it, not remembering that the Baron blurb is below it. Anthony up top. Oh, he's going to be attacked here. He'll be able to get out of there, though.
A weird flash, if I do say so myself. I don't know if that was completely necessary, but...
Bun and Jace go in, though. Nice little kill
going
for
down
them.
from top to bottom lane, we get a kill for the Mustangs.
The Mustangs clawing their way back right now. A bunch of little bounties. As Anthony looks to escape right now. Big damage on him.
Looks like Azir's going to try and join the fight. They're going to have to be careful, though, because Alawi is able to pop that R to start a anti-gank war going on.
Yeah. He's got some great survivability here in Game 3. Another Drake spawning in just 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Well, looks like a dive on the Vagar, but smartly enough, he was able to use a boom shroom or whatever you would call that thing to get some distance from Arcane, which is a very good play on their part. Right now, it just looks like we're at a chill phase, just trying to get some farm, get some objectives going, trying to take control of the map as best as we possibly can.
So it looks like we got 3 members of the Trojans heading down mid. They'll grab another turret and pull out immediately.
Yeah,
Jay's
like,
looking for a hit there, but he's going to get teamed up on. He'll be able to get out of there. Or no, he won't. He's still very much in this fight. Joined now by Alice and Dogart. So
yeah,
4
big fight
on
happening
3.
down bot or mid.
Yeah. As the rest of the Mustangs and the rest of the Trojans get themselves involved. 2 Mustangs fall. 3 Mustangs fall. 3, yes, still 3. And with 4 members of this team, they'll look forwards. And they'll grab yet another turret, and they'll look to gain more of an inhibitor, too.
Yeah, a game that is not looking very favorable for the Mustangs at this point in time.
17-9 on kills, almost 6K in extra gold. That inhibitor might also go down. There's certainly enough people there to do it. They'll all move out. Another Chemtech Dragon gonna go the way of the Trojans.
Yeah, and that is going to lock out dragons, and only Elder will spawn for the rest of the game here. Give him a very big buff, allowing a little bit of burn damage, I believe, but also more importantly, whenever an enemy hit by a player with the Elden Drake buff will instantly die anywhere below 20% of their health bar, which is very scary.
Yeah, and also the buff multiple effects of all the elemental dragons will go up by 50% if that first elder dragon is spawned, and it will just compound from there, which is insane. As we are now looking to enter into the late game here, Mustangs definitely not in the position that they were in game 1. Let's just put that out there. They're still fighting tooth and nail for every inch of ground, as they have taken down one turret. Woo!
Let's go for 2.
Let's go for 2, baby.
When big damage coming from the Vagar. Alice being caught out. Sadly getting hit by that end of the cage, and she's going to be taken out before a fight even begins.
And another Baron just over a minute away from spawning now. And if the Trojans are able to get control of that Baron, things are definitely going to be in dire straits for the Mustangs, as they are holding off attacks from that mid lane and that top lane. Jace looking low, and he'll be able to get out of there. A beautiful dash from him. Will Anthony, though, be able to get out of there? He will. 3 or 4 Mustangs up in that top lane.
Yeah, very scary. Alawi just able to spawn a bunch of tentacles on that volley bear, just keeping a lot of pressure on that tower. It looks like there is a lot of pressure from the tentacles that the Mustangs are going to have to stay back and hold off a little bit, allowing the Trojans to look at the Baron and maybe even take it.
Well, very little opposition so far from the Mustangs. About halfway through this Baron. And the Mustangs unable to get there in time. The Baron will fall. All 5 members of the Trojans will get the abilities granted by the Baron. And they'll go immediately back to their spawn. They make very confusing plays in this late game. We'll definitely see what they're able to do with that time that they have.
Yeah, looks like Jace is just trying to steal a little bit of camp from the Trojans, just trying to keep his jungler a little bit low on farm. And looks like he might get caught out here.
Seen on 2 sides. He'll try to get out of there, but he'll get caught in between them instead.
Looks like he's going to go for the Vagar. The Vagar not being able to take any damage from that ultimate.
Oh, and Jace will unfortunately fall there to the Vagar. 10 kills up. Too many turrets to count. The Mustangs still have that 1 turret they took down. Listen, I'm looking for the bright side here. Always look on the bright side of life. Mustangs looking to take a 3v1 up top. They won't pursue it as much. Up, and the bottom turrets starting to be destroyed there from the Trojans.
Yeah, looks like a game of just the Trojans trying to take away every kind of defense that the Mustangs have, turrets and inhibitors, before they're able to make their final push onto their
big ult for Bun, but it's not going to mean much. As we see Anthony falls next. Who else? Bun, Anthony, and Alice. Jace, I'm not even sure where Jace died, but it's all up to Dogart to defend now as that inhibitor falls. Will they go in? They will go in here on the turrets. And I think that might be it.
Sadly enough.
Mustangs take game 1, but unfortunately the Trojans make their way in and stake their claim. They'll take the win here in game 3. They'll improve to 3-1 in the NJCAAE League. Meanwhile, the Mustangs fall to 2-2. Definitely not the outcome we wanted for tonight's game.
Yeah, not the expected outcome after what we saw in that first game, but
Listen,
unfortunately, not to push that all the way through.
yeah. And the Mustangs, they played hard all game. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for anything that they did. They played a very strong game on offense and on defense. Just unfortunately, they're being caught out. And, you know, it all starts with that draft. They really got shut down by the Trojans when it came to that draft in game 2 and game 3. And, you know, it led to struggles when it comes down to it. And everyone played their hardest, and I think they played really well. But that's not going to do it for our stream here tonight. We will go to a quick break, and we'll hopefully come back with an interview. So we'll be right back with that. All right, and welcome back. Unfortunately, no interview for tonight after a very tough loss to the Trojans. But with that, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. Not exactly sure when exactly we're going to be streaming again. Not next week. I think late next week, probably Thursday, is going to be the next time that we're going to be streaming some Valorant gameplay. And then the next weekend, another game of League of Legends as the Mustangs look to bring their record up to 3-2 after a tough loss to the Trojans. But until then, I am Corrupted. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.